Okay, I'm starting now. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the second session of the Deep Tech Ready AI Builder Masterclass series. My name is Farouk Bakari, and I will be your moderator for today's live session. I also have my colleague Gideon George on the call. Thank you for thank you all for taking your time to join us. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you're returning from our previous session, we're excited to have you with us. Before we begin, kindly introduce, sorry. Before we begin, kindly introduce yourself in the chat, sharing your name, location, and we encourage everyone to stay engaged and participate throughout the session. Also, reach out to your friends and colleagues to join the session so they don't miss out on anything. Before introducing the facilitator, to begin today's session, here is an overview of what we covered during our first masterclass on vibe coding. Last week, we explored how AI is changing the way applications are built. Participants were introduced to, okay, before I go on, let me share a slide. So yes, participants were introduced to generative AI fundamentals, effective prompts using ICA framework, anti-gravity, and jitter. Vassal as well. So during the live demonstrations, we saw how these tools can significantly accelerate software development, allowing developers and even non-developers to build applications faster with the support of AI. Today's live session builds naturally on that foundation. While vibe coding focuses on using AI to help us build software faster, today's topic goes a step further by exploring systems that can actually think through tasks, make decisions, use tools, and execute workflows with minimal human intervention. These systems are known as AI agents. Today, we will explore what AI agents are, how they differ from traditional AI agent chatbots, the core components of AI agents, practical use case scenarios across industries, demonstrations of how AI agents can also be built and deployed. We will also cover the best practices and emerging and emerging trends in AI agents. By the end of today's class, you will have a solid understanding of how AI agents are transforming productivity, business processes, and software development. We hope many of you have continued experimenting with these tools and applying what you've learned so far. So I will call my colleague, Gideon George, to introduce the facilitator while the session is ongoing. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat as the session progresses. They will be addressed during the question and answer session. Also, stay on to the end of the session for announcements, attendance, and remember, you must attend at least 2 sessions to get a certificate of attendance from this program. Gideon George, over to you.
Baruch, that was a nice introduction. Hello, everyone. I want to especially welcome you to this wonderful session. It is my pleasure to introduce today's facilitator. I know many of us have had the privilege of learning from him during the last week's session. However, for the benefit of those joining us for the first time today, I'd like to briefly reintroduce him before we begin. Okay, the facilitator is an AI researcher and engineer from XPR Technologies Limited called Ime Yang. Ime is an applied AI engineer and lead technical educator at XPR Technologies, specializing in natural language processing and pedagogical engineering. He focuses on building safe by design AI environment with a particular emphasis on model personal stability and ethical adoption for young learners. While his approach is grounded in research, Ime has primarily distinguished himself through the extensive implementation of high engagement and narrative-driven framework to scale technical literacy. His work bridges the gap between complex frontier large language model deployment and accessible education, ensuring that emerging talent is prepared for high impact roles. He is dedicated to empowering African talent by transforming complex technical instruction into immersive, result-oriented experiences. So I want to welcome you once more again. We are in the field. We are right now going to go into AI agents, deep dive into AI agents with this expert. I want you to pay attention and want to welcome the AI researcher and AI engineer, Mr. Ime Yang. You're highly welcome. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Gideon. Thank you very much, Mr. Farouk, and happy weekend to you all. How are we doing? I trust we're all doing great. I'm sorry. I would like to share my camera with, I would like you to see me, but
No
unfortunately,
problem.
my camera is down. So
No
I'm
problem.
just going to go ahead and share my screen.
Thank you, sir.
Please confirm you can see my screen. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can see your screen. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, welcome again to this masterclass on AI automation and vibe coding. Today, we are going to be dealing with AI agents. So we are going to walk you through how to develop an AI agent from scratch. Okay, so in the previous session, we learned how AI can help us build. In this session, we will be shifting our focus from building applications to building intelligent workers. By the end of today's session, you will be able to explain what an AI agent is, how it differs from concepts like agentic AI and retrieval augmented generation or RAG. We'll explore the core building blocks of an AI agent, understand how agents become more capable over time, and see how multiple agents can work together to solve more complex problems. Most importantly, we won't stop at theory. We will design an agent ourselves. We'll design together and we'll be building on the work we did last week, which is an event management system or event management center. And we are going to be building an assistant for that particular website. And what it's going to be able to do is it's going to be able to answer queries regarding bookings, and is also going to help us perform the booking itself, so that we won't have to fill the form, or the user will not have to fill the form themselves. The agent is going to do that for them. So just as last week, you don't need a technical background to follow. You just need to focus on the design process and you will be good. So in the previous session, when we built a software, the AI waited for our instructions, and then it probably generated code if we're for when we're building software, and it generated text document for when we're building or when we're writing the README file, and it helped us improve our application. You also were able to push your application to GitHub, and you had the experience implementing it with Vercel. Now, we are going to the next step. Instead of asking AI to build something once, right? What if we had an intelligent assistant that performs this work continuously for us? Now, you may have seen uh, that happen with something like anti-gravity, and you've probably seen it in situations like ChatGPT, where you ask the model to develop a website, and it does that, and it then makes a presentation to you, or it can even send you some files to download. I mean, it's not just answering your questions, not just responding to queries, it's actually taking actions, it's even taking steps. The same thing with anti-gravity. It was taking steps on its own. Now, that's exactly what an AI agent is designed for. Just let me create a little description, right, to help differentiate it in your mind, because at some points you may have some difficulty identifying, but it's quite simple. An agent, think of an agent as maybe a housing agent, right? A housing agent can go find a house for you, and they can even pay for the house for you, depending on your agreement with the agent, right? Can pay for the house, can maybe get people to clean it up or paint it, just depending on that. While a simple LLM agent a simple LLM or a simple chatbot does some interaction. So you can think of it as maybe simple customer care that doesn't do anything for you. I'm not saying customer care doesn't do anything, but you get the gist I'm making, right? You call the customer care, you ask about some products, the customer care tells you certain products, and that's the end of it. That's the difference between the two. But in this deep dive, you're going to understand a lot better than what I have just described. So, but this is a question I want you to carry while we are going through this program. If you could hire a digital employee today, what repetitive task would you assign to that employee? Just give it a thought, hold it as we progress. An AI agent is an AI system that can use tools and take actions to complete a task. It is not just answering questions, it is doing actual work. That means the agent is given a goal, it looks at what needs to happen, and it performs steps that move it toward that goal. So a simple way to think about it is this. A chatbot talks, but an agent acts. A chatbot talks, an agent acts. Talk and do, if you put it like that. So when people say AI agent, they usually mean something that can do more than just respond. It can react with tools, trigger actions, and help complete a workflow. Now, here's another question to help your imagination. What repetitive task would you trust AI to do for you? Okay, so we have a basic idea of what an AI agent is. Let us separate between two concepts, AI agents and agentic AI. So these two terms are related, but they are not exactly the same. An AI agent is an actual system that performs the work. It is a thing we build. On the other hand, is the behavior we observe when AI acts with some level of autonomy, especially when it can decide what to do next. So one is the system, and the other is the style of behavior. So a basic agent can already act. A more agentic system can also make decisions, adjust its steps, and recover when something changes. That is why we should not mix up the two ideas. The agent is the implementation, and agentic AI is the capability. So let's look into the core parts of an AI agent. Every agent is built from a few core parts. The model, which is the core intelligence, the instructions, which tells the agent what role to play, the tools, which let it connect to the outside world, the memory, which helps it remember useful context, the knowledge, which gives it trusted information, and guardrails, which keep it safe and focused, and the actions or the things that it actually does. So a useful way to picture this is simple. And the model thinks, the tool acts, the tool connects, the memory remembers, the actions produce results. Now, from platform to platform, you may find that most of the systems already have memory integrated, right? But if you're dealing with a very bare platform like N10, we won't be using N10, we'll be using Make instead. But if you were to be using N10, N10 gives you the option to select memory, right? But some other platforms like Make, you may realize that you don't specifically need to select memory because the model, the interface, the development interface already has memory connected to it, unless you want to store your memory externally. So that being said, memory is what allows the model to remember your conversation. Ideally, large language models do not have the capability to remember. What happens is that every time you send a prompt to the model, it generates a response. The next prompt you send to it is a concatenation of your first prompt, the model's last response, and your most recent prompt. It puts all together into the model as a context, and then it generates the next response, which is the second response. So the model doesn't remember. It needs you to give it back its previous feedback, right? So you talk to the model responds. You have to take your initial prompt, the model's response, plus your new prompt, and send it all back into the model. And the model generates another series of tokens based on that context that it has received. So, and the actions produce the result. That was just trying to bring our minds back to how large language models work on the surface and explaining to us why memory is a very important feature. Now, once you understand these parts, it becomes much easier to design the right kind of agents for the task. So different agents can be built at different levels, and that's what we want to look at now. Let's start with the simplest class of agents, a basic agent. Now, a basic agent has one clear goal, one main tool, one main action. It does a small job very well. For example, it could answer event inquiries from a knowledge base or collect a booking request from a form, which is what we are going to be dealing with. So at this level, the agent does not need to be clever. It just needs to be useful, predictable, and easy to understand. So I want to give us a very simple example of, okay, this may not be the simplest example. Okay, yeah, I think it will do. It will just do, right? If you've interacted with MTN bots, the MTN chats bot on WhatsApp, right? If you've interacted with the MTN chatbot, now this MTN chatbot it has some LLM technology behind it. Why am I sure? I have not handled it on the back end, but the way it interacts, I'm confident there is some LLM intelligence behind it. And why I say so is because in regular workflows, in chatbots, you have to have a specific input exact. You have to have a very, very exact input, and the workflow begins. If your input is wrong, it's going to break along the way, right? But if you have a language model that is behind the system, even if the input is wrong, the model knows how to map your inputs to whatever it's supposed to send to the server, right? It just interprets whatever you've sent. Maybe you were asking it about your remaining units, right? It is able to pick that information and send it, right? So how I know that there is a large language technology behind the MTN chatbot is that you could either send a number or a text and it's going to read it. But beyond that, the model is going to break, or the chat is going to break, and it doesn't respond very well. So, but like I said, I don't know I have not interacted with it on the back end, but I'm confident that this is it. But I could be wrong because I'm not the developer of the MTN chatbot. It's something you could attempt investigating. So why I brought that up is because Sometimes when you chat with that model, right, it doesn't have memory, it doesn't remember your previous responses. You have to start the conversation again. So that's why I brought it up to show you an example of what is a very basic or simple agent. So, um, this is often the best place to begin because it lets us prove the idea before adding more complexity. So once your basic version works, you can now decide to add more features to it without making it confusing. Okay, the next level is a beta agent. Hello, are you with me? Kindly confirm you are still with me.
Yes, we are with you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the next level is a beta agent, right? And we choose to label it as a beta agent for certain reasons. It's it it has more support than a very basic agent. That's why we label it like that. While there are various conventions for naming an agent, whether good, better, or best or worst, we are just going to keep it very simple. So we call it a beta agent because it may use memory, it has a trusted knowledge source, or it has slightly richer tool access. The important point is that um, better does not always mean more tools, but it means a more capable and reliable agent. For example, a better event assistant might remember previous questions, use whole information and get more accurate responses. So at this stage, we are improving the quality, not just adding features. Okay, now you reach the advanced agent. This level goes beyond a simple action execution. At this point, your agent can plan and choose between different tools and work through multiple steps and recover when something changes. So if you have interacted with anti-gravity, those who were part of the previous session, if you interacted with anti-gravity and you built your website, you would notice that your model was taking, you gave one instruction, but the agent was doing multiple things. It created a list of activities or a list of events that it has to execute on, and it went on step after step. In fact, one of the first things it did for you was to give to you an implementation plan. All right. It showed you what it is going to do, and afterward, it showed you the various checkpoints that it's going to go through. So this is where the agent starts to feel more independent. And that's where you now start to hear the English autonomous agents, right? Because at this point in time, your interference is minimal. It's executing on its own to a very large extent. So an advanced events assistant might probably check for availability, compare options, and capture customer requests, or prepare a summary for a human team member, right? So there are various things that the agent is trying to do compared to the very simple one. So the progression is now very clear. A basic agent, then a better agent, then an advanced agent. So this is the hierarchy we will keep in mind as we move into something we call multi-agents. So there are some situations where a single agent is not enough, even being very intelligent and being very capable, having as many tools to it, having a very defined workflow and action plan, and it's still like this agent is not the best, it breaks. This is where we introduce concepts like a multi-agent system. So a multi-agent system is where more than one agent works on the same overall problem. Each agent may have its own role, and one agent may answer questions, another may check availability, another may prepare a summary, another may hand over to a human, right? It's just like having multiple assistants attending to you. So this is useful when a task is too large or varied for one single agent to handle. So instead of one very busy agent doing everything, we create a small team of focused agents that collaborate. That is why multi-agent systems are often used for more complex workflows. So before we build anything, we need to know how to design a single strong agent first. Okay, so there are a couple of things you have to be aware when creating your agents. One of the first and important things is to design the agent. So it's just like putting pen to paper, right, before you start the actual work. So this helps simplifies your creation process. So um, you don't have to front load, you don't have to struggle, if I should use that term, during the building process because you already have a map of what you want to build, right? It's just like when you created the PRD, your product requirement document, you use the model to define what your product is going to be about, right? So that when you give it to the model, you will not be going back and forth with it. That's exactly what we want to do here, right? In designing the agent. So before you build your agent, you design carefully by firstly defining the goal. What problem should the agent solve? And then you define who the user is, who is going to interact with the agent, and what will they need. Then you now say, okay, your knowledge, what information should the agent trust? Like what should the agent know that will help it in performing its tasks? And you now define the tools that the agent is going to use. What system should it connect to? And then you define the actions. What should it actually do? Right? And then you set guardrails. What must it not do? So this gives us a clear blueprint before we move into the live design canvas. Please hold on a second.
Okay, good evening, everyone. While we wait for our tutor to continue the session, thank you everyone for joining today's session. I see that we're all dropping comments and we're engaging into this class. We appreciate every one of you. So while we wait for him to join, please also reach out to your friends and colleagues to join. Remember, you have to get a minimum of 2 attendance to get your certificate of attendance. Please, Mr. Ume, once you're ready to join, you can prompt me. And also a reminder that we also have another. Okay, thank you for your comments. Shubuzo, nice lecture. Yes, thank you, everyone. I hope Omagbuba, you can hear and you can see his screen now, because I believe we all can see his screen and hear him. Yes, so keep the comments. Thank you for engaging. Reach out to your friends and colleagues to join, and stay to the end, because we have announcement to make, and we don't want you to miss out on any of the assignments. I can see announcements. I can see some of us asking for attendance. Don't worry, that will be shared at the end of the class. So please, or at any moment, so please do well to wait. Yes, if you have, okay, for those of us just joining for the first time, like Simon Favor, so you can also check the previous week's content on vibe coding. It's also available on this channel, FMCIT channel. So you can also engage with the video, and then we watched follow through to today's session, and then we have one more session for next week, which is on AI automation. Mr. Email, if you're ready, let me know. Yes, you're welcome, Dankos. So I hope I've answered some of the questions that you have dropped so far. Okay, WhatsApp group. Okay, we don't have a WhatsApp group for now. Now we don't have a WhatsApp group. If you are a deep tech ready learner, then you can drop your comments and your issues on the Telegram group. But if you are not a deep tech ready learner, there is no WhatsApp group. You can only reach out to us using our official email. Yes, I hope I have answered your question. Thank you, Steven. Oh, sorry about that. If you're able to submit the attendance, you go to the previous video and then you get the QR code to fill the attendance. Someone said, I'm enjoying the class. Thank you. This is my first time as well. Okay, so Christian, I hope you heard what I said. For those of us just joining the first class, go to the FCM CID channel. You will see last week's series on vibe coding. You have to rewatch the videos to get the materials you need. Okay, no. Okay, I'll just do other issues. So remember, this is a series, right? So we said it's going to last for 3 weeks. Mr. Imed, please, once you're ready, you can prompt me. So remember, we said this series is supposed to span 3 weeks, and we had one last week, which Mr. Taribo anchored. He was the facilitator for last week. This week we have Mr. Ime. So the topic remains the same. It's just that, sorry, the topics are the same. It's just that your tutors may change from time to time. I hope that is clear. So Mr. Ime if you're ready, over to you. Thank you, everyone.
Right, thank you very much, Sarah. Please confirm you can still see my screen.
Yes, I can still see your screen and I can hear you.
Okay, and you're still seeing the slides?
Yes, I can see your slide.
Okay, thank you.
Designing an AI agent. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so moving on, we are going to enter into a canvas and we'll design an agent. So our demo agent will be an event center assistant for our previous website that we built. So we've made some changes in our own website. We did some further vibe coding so that we will grant the agent some access to the website, right? Because this is what the agent actually needs. The agent needs access to the website to be able to look at it. So it will help people ask about events, ask about space for time slots at the event center, and also book. So we'll fill in the canvas step by step, and we'll define the goal. We will identify the user. We will list the knowledge it needs. We will choose the tool it should access. We will define the actions it can perform, and we will set guardrails. But for this first one, we may not set a guardrail. This is important because the build becomes much easier once the design is clear. So I'm going to open a ScaliDraw on here. Okay, so what's a ScaliDraw? A ScaliDraw is basically a canvas that you can draw things on, right? So that's just basically what a ScaliDraw is a canvas. So we will just be using this to define everything that we need. So, and the goal, what is the goal of this agent? So the goal of this agent is to make requests. Uh, submit booking requests. Sorry, please hold on 1 second. Let me ensure something is set well on my system.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm back again. So it's not that you can't hear anything. Atuto asked that we give him a little time. So please, for those of us still asking about attendance, please, I think that has been answered. Gideon has answered that in the chat. Yes, if you watch it, you can also submit your. Um, it's better you stay to the end of the class to just sign your attendance. I hope you can hear me. Some of you are saying you can hear. I'm actually speaking, and I believe some of you can hear me now. Our tutor will join us shortly. So if you have any questions so far from what Mr. Ime has shared, you can start to drop your questions in the chat, and he will answer them at the end of this session. So feel free to start dropping your questions from now so that he will answer them once it's time for the question and answer session. So any question, if you have any question, you can drop them and I can answer them before your tutor comes back online. Mr. Email, once you're ready, kindly prompt me so I can hand over to you. So I'm good.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
It's fine.
I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I think I'm having some technical challenges here. Sorry, please. Okay, so the goal is to submit booking requests and also okay. First is to check availability. Check availability and submit booking request. The user is going to be an event customer, which is event hosts or planner. So what knowledge should it have? What knowledge should this model have? Well, for one, the model should know, it should know stuff like it should know, yeah, a list of events. List of events. It should know available time. It should know also user information, which should be sent. Okay, so what tool should the model have access to? What tool should it call? So what a webhook basically is, as the name implies, a hook for a website which allows it to gather some information from the website. So what we are going to grant it is an API or webhook. API is more general. APIs allow you to either retrieve or to post to your website database. So we'll just say APIs as webhooks. What action should it take? Get updates, right? Get updates of okay, get web info events events info user check availability space and then post requests. Okay. And then what should be the guardrails? For this type of, what would be the guardrails? So sometimes instead of setting guardrails, you just do not grant your agent access to something, right? Maybe you are still in the development phase and you've not yet identified what it should not do, right? So you could just say, okay, I don't know yet what to do. So what I'll do is I'm not going to grant it access beyond what I have defined here. So basically that. Okay, so let's look at this again. We have the goal, which is to check availability for events and to submit booking requests to, then the user is the customer, the event host or planner. The knowledge is events and availability and also user information. That's the knowledge. User information is what it's going to collect. The tools it has is just API to look at the website or the database. Actions, get event information from user, check space availability, and post a request. Okay, so that's basically what it should do. All right. Okay, so we now have an idea of what our agent should be. So it's time to build. So now we have a complete design. We will use the choice from the canvas to configure the event center assistant. The agent should be able to do the things we've asked it to. So if something feels weak, we improve it. If it fails, we will try to fix it here. So I want you to know that sometimes you don't get it right at the first build, right? It fails, it gets better, it fails, it gets better. So it's an iterative process. Okay, so let me open make.com. I'm going to leave this one here open. Let me open make.com. So make.com is basically, um, It's a workflow platform, but with the invention of LLMs and all the developments, they've added these other features where you can create agents. So it's similar to Init and also Zapier. So our choice, our reason for using make.com is that one, the interface is simpler, is a lot more simpler, and you have about 30 days for free, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign in using my GitHub. You could sign in using Google. If you've not created an account, you just click get started and it's going to show you how to connect either your Google account or your GitHub account, or you just simply you just simply use email. Please, can you confirm that it's Make that you are looking at?
Yes,
Hello?
that's what you are looking at the screen. Thank you.
So I'm going to log in to Make. Okay, so I already had something running. I'm going to create another one from scratch. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Please hold again. Another technical challenge. Just hold on, please. This should not exceed 2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you everyone for being on the call. This is 5 p.m. and we're still in progress. The instructor is coming back less than 2 minutes. So we need to be very serious about these courses, about this program. As we all know, things are changing very fast in the industry. AI is taking over all over the world. And if you understand the history of AI, you know that we came from classical AI to different parts of AI, neural network, deep learning, uh, generative AI, agentic AI, and this is what is happening now. So anything that is worth doing is worth doing well. As you are here, make sure that you assimilate as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and also try as much as possible not to miss the next class too, because as you heard from Sarah, my colleague, the attendance is very important for you to get your certification on this program. So the attendance is very important, and you have to wait till the end of the class for you to get the attendance link to submit your attendance. But for the meantime, try to open your mind and try to understand it the best that you can. And also, even after the master class, you can still learn a lot from different medium. You can learn from an ebook. You can learn from any generative AI. You can learn from. There are resources online, even on YouTube. You can continue to learn. So make sure you continue to learn. Learning doesn't have end. You need to continue learning. You need to equip yourself, and you need to make yourself more valuable, because this skill is a very important skill that you make you to be very valuable anywhere you find yourself in the world. Whether you are in Nigeria working with a foreign organization, either remotely or in Nigeria, it's very important for you to keep on learning and keep on doing things. You learn by doing. As we have seen, the instructor entered an application, a site. You too, you need to check there. You need to go to that website and check. Try to learn by doing. You don't learn how to ride bicycle by watching a YouTube video on how to ride bicycle. You understand? You have to get the bicycle and ride on it before you can actually ride the bicycle. So it's very important. So it's very important for you to make this a very serious commitment. As I said earlier on, whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. If it is not worth your time, you will have been anywhere in the world right now, but you are here, so you need to maximize the opportunity that you have, because opportunities come often, most especially in this field, in AI. Opportunity comes very often, and if you are not ready for any opportunity, you will miss. But if you are fully ready for opportunity, you grab the opportunity as it comes and you excel with it. So continue to learn and continue to make yourself more valuable. Thank you very much. Sarah, you can go on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Gideon. Hello, everyone. We apologize for the break. Tuto is currently experiencing some technical issues, but he will rejoin shortly. So please be patient. And he will rejoin shortly. So while we wait for him, like I said before, kindly drop your questions, and he will answer them once he's back. I see a lot of us are asking about attendance to be shared soon, so please just stay tuned to the end of the class. And like I mentioned, this is a three-part series. We had the first one was on vibe coding. I'm sure we all enjoyed that class. And today we with Samuel, and today we have Ime, who is taking us on AI agents. So he's going to join shortly, but do well to also join us same time next week, as we'll be rounding up this series. Like I said, it's a three-part series, so we'll be rounding up this series next week. And for those of us asking about the recording, there's no recording. Please, it's you always come back here at any time to rewatch what was done in class. So this is available. Just keep do well to keep the link, and even if you can't find the link, like I said, you always come to FMCIDE and just search for the Deep Tech Ready Masterclass series, and you have access to all the um, topics that's on code vibing, AI agents, and AI automation. I hope we have answered all your questions. So I'm going through the chats to see if we have more questions while we wait for our tutor to be joined. We apologize once again for the technical issues. It will be resolved shortly, and we appreciate every one of you for your patience. Attendance. Are we concerned about attendance than the class, or is it because of the certification? Don't worry, you will have the opportunity to do that. Attendance. Okay, thank you also for. I can see some of us have been answering the question about getting the recording. Yes, we appreciate this. What we want us to do, engage and follow what is being said. Yeah. So if you have any other question, like I said, in the first class, I was also supposed to make the announcement. So I think I can go ahead and make some of the announcements so that at the end of the class we don't have to stay long on the call. We can quickly wrap up. So this material is available for learners who are the Deep Tech Ready program. So you can always you can log into your the LMS to engage with the learning content. That's for Deep Tech Ready learners. Give me a minute to share my screen so we can quickly talk about that while we wait for our tutor to rejoin, and we don't have to waste time. I'm making announcements again at the end of the class. So let me know when you can see my screen so we quickly run through the announcement while we wait for our tutor to rejoin the class. Okay, please let me know when you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, let me go through the chat session and see if you can see my screen. So I'll just go through um, our announcements while we wait for our tutor to join. So as we keep emphasizing, please, you have to have at least 2 sessions to earn a certificate of completion. So if you couldn't join the first, that was last week's session, do well to join the remaining two, which is today and next week, so that you can qualify to get the certificate of completion. And then for Deep Tech Ready Fellows, kindly log into the LMS to have access to the masterclass learning materials. And then you have up until Sunday, 9th of August to complete your learning. Gideon, please, if you can hear me, kindly continue.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so it seems Sarah is not available at the moment. I will take over from here. So the deadline to complete the Deep Tech Ready learning is Sunday, 16th of August, as she said earlier. And our final session is on AI automation, which is coming up on the 1st of August, same time, 4 p.m. by the same venue, YouTube, hosted by Femicide. So I think that's that about that. While we wait for our hosts, kindly be patient. Thank you. And while we're still on the call, you can still keep dropping your questions so that we can answer them. The chat box is being monitored, so we are collecting your questions. So at the end of the session, we can answer them. Thank you very much. Okay, so it seems our tutor is back online. Mr. Ime, are you with us? Hello, can anyone hear me? Gideon, please, can you hear me?
You're audible.
All right, thank you. Okay. I don't know if Mr. Ime is here with us, but I can't see him here.
Slides from her end.
Okay. All right, welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
No issues, sir.
Kindly confirm you can see my slide.
You can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you. So I sincerely want to apologize because my system is currently having a technical issue. This was unforeseen. So, but what I've decided to do is I'm going to go ahead and explain some concepts. Then during the next master class, I'm going to redo this demo, right? The next master class is going to be about workflow automation. It ties well with what we're already doing, which is AI agents. So the first thing we'll do is we'll build an agent from scratch, and then we will do the automation pipeline. Okay. Okay. I hope the class is okay with that. So I'm going to try to access this slide from another device so that okay. So we want to talk now about RAG and AI agents. So remember I said that an AI agent is able to carry out an action, right? It can check information in a database, it can update your database, it can take out certain actions on your website. So, but what makes it different from retrieval augmented generation or RAG? Because the similarity here is that both are basically intelligence models connected to some facility, right? You have an LLM under the hood as an AI agent, and you have an, an LLM also under the hood as a retrieval augmented generation tool. So what's the difference? At a glance, they look quite similar because both can answer questions and uh, using company knowledge or whatever knowledge you support them with. The difference lies in what happens after the answer. So a typical RAG system is designed to find relevant information and generate a grounded response. It excels at answering questions accurately because it retrieves information from trusted sources before responding, right? So, for example, you might ask something like, how many people can the Emerald Hall accommodate? Let's say that our our website now states that you can select various halls, and somebody asks, how many people can Emerald Hall accommodate? So, a RAG-powered assistant searches the event center, right? It searches the event center's knowledge base, finds the answer and responds. And excuse me, an AI agent goes a bit further. So let's say the customer says, I'm planning a wedding for 250 guests next December, right? Recommend a hall and then reserve it for me. So the AI will not just answer the user request. What it's going to do is it's going to first of all get information about that hall, and then it is going to compare available options. After that, the final thing it's going to do is it's going to book that request on your behalf. So you don't have to go and fill the forms, right? You don't have to fill any form. You just interact with the agent, and the agent fills it. Because websites are interesting, UI is very interesting. But you see, where we are right now in the world, it's about conversation. It's about conversational technology. And ChatGPT is a conversational technology. Um, Gemini is a conversational technology. WhatsApp is a conversational technology. Telegram is a conversational technology. You notice that most websites now always or seem to always have a customer care at the side on the at the bottom right of the website. They have a customer care and it's always 24/7 online, right? And you can interact with whoever that is. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that most people don't want to go through a large portion of information to get what they want. They just want to be able to ask questions, get the right answer, take action, if possibly right there where they are getting that information, right? So this is one of the benefits of AI agents. It doesn't just get information from you, but it can act on a particular information that it is given. So RAG helps AI to know, but AI agents or agents help AI to do something. And in many real world systems, and the two work together. You might have an AI agent who uses RAG or which uses RAG as one of its tools to access accurate information before deciding what action to take, you know. So if you were going to be building a customer support system, where would you use RAG and where would you use an agent? So this brings us to the end of this masterclass. at this point, I'm sincerely sorry that you are unable to see what I would have developed for you. But like I said, in the next session, we are going to do that from the ground up. We will develop the agents, then we will develop the pipeline or the workflow that we are going to use the agent in. Okay. So thank you all very much for your time. At this point, I would like to take your questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Email. So I'll hand over to Gideon to take the question and answer session. Gideon, if you can hear me, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Imi, for this wonderful session of AI agents. And we really, really appreciate this moment where we learn about AI agents and gain the practical experience on this. Thank you all the participants, the students that made it to the session. We appreciate you. Any moment from now, you'll be seeing the attendance link. Please endeavor to fill in your attendance. It's very important. If you miss last, I can see some people are saying they missed last attendance due to they couldn't scan the QR code. They need the link. So please try as much as possible to impute your attendance today, and make sure that you also attend the next one of AI automation, which is like a sequel to AI agents. So AI automation, AI agent, vibe coding is what is reigning in the industry right now. And we want you to get hands-on experience, equip yourself with this wonderful skill, and make sure you make yourself more valuable on it. So please, if there are any questions, please drop your questions. We are going to be taking questions right now. Okay, the first question that we have right now is, as AI agents become more autonomous, what design principles and safeguards should developers prioritize to ensure they remain reliable, secure, and aligned with human intentions while still being in effect? This is the first question.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I think that's a very, very important question because, in fact, as at about 2 months ago, there was a report that a particular cloud agent, I forget the name, was granted access. It was doing, I think, overnight development or so, but it was granted access to the entire code base and it wiped away the entire. Sorry. Um, I'm thinking of two different situations, right? The first one is that from about 2 months ago or last month, it was a cloud agent that I think it exposed security information, right, about Claude's code base. Then the other is about a startup that an agent cleared out the entire database. While I think the first one was more hype, right? I think it was more hype because the news was stating more information that I thought was relevant. It still shows a very serious issue. Now, there are a couple of principles that are involved in ensuring that there is safety for human beings. The most important or the primary principle that is emphasized in AI ethics is human in the loop, right? Ensuring that agents are not completely autonomous, like they don't do A to Z on their own. There has to be a human reviewer. In the previous session, you noticed that one of the instructions we gave in how the agent should execute on our development is to always ask us questions, right? Always ask us questions. So that's one principle you should put in whatever design framework you have, ensuring that there is a human in the loop. The other one is to ensure that you do not keep security details or security keys within your development files. Mr. Samuel said that last week, that when you are developing, right, you have the test environment and production environment. And commonly, people would put secret keys in their test environment. When you are entering development, when you are entering product environment, you want to ensure that those informations are kept securely. And another safeguard is you can implement is because sometimes these agents or these models can receive inputs from external they can receive inputs from external, let me just say, bad actors, right? What the kind of guardrails you can implement are what you would describe as a 5-tier guardrail, where you are guarding not only, please confirm you can hear me. It's very loud right here. Confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we
Yes, we
can.
can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I said that some of the methods you can implement is putting something like a 5-step trust system, right? That filters, for example, let's talk about input. So if you are going to be sending something to the model should have a kind of filter for bad requests. Or in the case of retrieval augmented generation, you can do another level of filtration so that whatever comes back from the model or whatever comes back from a search is not implemented. Let me give you an example to close it. If you've interacted with something like Gemini or Claude recently, and you ask a question about, I want to do some research on suicide. Remember that as of last year, there have been a lot of complaints about these models goading people towards suicide or encouraging or supporting their attempts for suicide. If you interact with some of these models now on sensitive topics like this to your request, why is that? It's because they have put some of these internal checks or filtration that even though a request goes in successfully, when it comes back to the give the user that particular response on the I hope this answers your question about autonomy, humans in the loop, and filtration mechanisms.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you very
then I think another thing to point out is when you say human intentions, right? I think another thing to point out is you see, culture and ethics, it varies from place to place. So what may be ethical in America may not be considered ethical here in Nigeria. So in such situations, you want to work with experts in a particular domain to ensure that your system is meeting up to what is that society standard. So you can talk with maybe anthropological experts also. Just depending on the use case, I'm saying you want to talk with experts within your field of interest and the audience of interest to be able to have a more grounded and safer agent. Thank you.
Wow, wow. Thank
Hello?
you so much for that wonderful answer. Thank you very much. The next question is from Texas. Can AI agents hallucinate even though guardrails was included in the development compared to retrieval augmented generation chatbots?
Yes. Can AI agents hallucinate?
Hallucinate.
Yes. They are very much capable of hallucination. This is the reason we have to expose them to the right kind of knowledge. What we mean by hallucination is that a model, remember, agents are at their lowest level large language models. When we say hallucination, it means unfactual information. So yes, they are capable of hallucinating, sometimes even with guardrails. Why? A couple of reasons. One reason is that it's not exposed to the right kind of knowledge, right? You did not um, give it a background knowledge, so it just has to think on its own. Another reason an agent could hallucinate is context. Remember in the last session, Mr. Samuel explained that everything is about context, context window. Your context window is the maximum amount or number of tokens that the LLM can look at, right? So if its context window is going beyond what the model can actually process, it's going to forget some information. It's going to forget maybe the previous information or a very tiny information at the middle of your conversation, and it starts creating its own ideas. So yes, it's very possible for a model, even with guardrail, to hallucinate. So which is why one of the things we encourage, as Mr. Samuel said before, is do front loading for stuff like this. Front load your design parameters to the model so that it remembers it quickly and responds to that. Then you can now progressively update it. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully. Thank you very much for that wonderful answer. The next question is from Peace Mark. Can I get the real name of the Canva and the AI we are going to use?
The name of the canvas is called Excalibur. So you don't necessarily need it. I just opened it up so that you can see how I'm thinking in my design process. So, but it's called Excalibur. It's used for basically drawing. I'm making notations. Then the application for the development which we'll be using is called make.com. make.com.
Okay, thank you very much for that. The next question
Hello.
is from Mike. From Mike Abu. He said, can AI automation be used on Microsoft Excel to auto perform tasks on Excel?
Yes, you can use you can create an. Please let me get that clear. Did the person say AI agent? Did Mike say AI agent, or he just said AI?
Okay, he talk about AI automation. Can AI automation
Okay,
be used?
automation.
Yes, automation be used on Excel to perform tasks?
Okay, so let's understand automation. Automation is basically workflows, right? It's just creating a defined process for something to happen. That's what exactly happens in automation platforms. Now, when we say AI automation, it means you've added some intelligence in there. So before now, automation could be done on Excel. So
So we can't hear you. Can you hear me, please?
please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear now.
All right. Please, did you get what I said?
It seems the network is shaking.
Okay, I was saying that you can perform uh, automation, AI automation on Excel sheets, right? Whatever your use case is, it's possible to build a good work on your spreadsheet.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for
Okay.
that wonderful answer. So the next question goes like this from Tech with Ezra. What if AI agents become capable of making critical decisions? Who should be accountable when they make mistakes?
Okay, very, very important question. But please, can you confirm you hear me before I respond?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So yeah, it's a very important conversation. Who should be held accountable? So if we go back to talking about if we go back to talking about copyright concerns, right? Copyright concerns or failures in who is supposed to be blamed? Is it the developer or is it the user? Is it the development organization? Is it the developer itself, or is the user? Because artificial intelligence agents do not have moral agency, right? So they can only do what you ask them to do. So I believe that firstly, on it's shared responsibility, right? It's shared responsibility in the sense of it depends on where the failure is coming from. If it is a design flaw, then whoever designed the agents should be responsible for that failure and should take the necessary action. If it is a user's failure, secret information, and it accessed your GitHub repo, like and you learned about giving it keys, right? You gave your agents, your anti-gravity agents, access to GitHub. Now, if you selected the wrong
Hello, are you there? I think the network is.
responsibility. And I said that responsibility lies where the failure is coming from. Right? It's a shared responsibility, but it lies where failure is coming from. If it was a design flaw, then the, the responsible person is the developer or the company that developed that system. If it is an inference problem, right, then it's with whoever designed or whoever trained the large language model. If it is a user failure, you gave it the wrong information, the wrong prompt, you gave it secret keys, it is the user who is going to be held responsible. This is why, like I said to the previous question, in response to the previous question, you want to ensure that you have done everything within your power to keep whatever information is available to you secure, right? You do not give personal information and secret information to the model, because if it is a design failure with the model and it somehow misinterprets your instruction and does something else, it's still going to be your fault for giving access, full access or unlimited access to the model. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that wonderful answer. So we have the last question here is, I think that is second to the last question is, how do we evaluate an agent's performance?
Okay, so there are a couple of ways to evaluate an agent's performance, right? One major way, firstly, it depends on the use case, right? So it depends on the use case. Your use case is going to determine what kind of evaluation you are going to need. A very common evaluation is human evaluation. Another evaluation is maybe a large language model as a judge and maybe some other automated benchmarks, right? You can always find them online. And then there are some of these platforms that actually allow you to evaluate your agents in the process of creation or post creation. So if you just Google any of them, I'm sure you will find what you need.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you very much for that wonderful insight. Uh, the last question is, please, when turning our ideas into real working software, following the software development lifecycle as a developer, how do we implement agents, especially when we are using VS Code, and how can Stitch be integrated? This is the last question.
Please ask the question again. Hello, please can you ask your question again?
Yes, the question is from Augustine Chinedu. Please, when turning our ideas into real working software following the SDLC as a developer, how do we implement agents, especially when using VS Code, and how can Stitch be integrated?
Okay, I am supposing that your question is how do you design an agent in any of these platforms, right? I think that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll just assume that that's the question you're asking. How do you design an agent? I think that's the whole purpose of what we were doing today, how to design an agent, right? So you understand what the goal of the agent is, understand what tools it should have, and then understand what actions it should take, what knowledge it should have. What we discussed today is the basic workflow for designing an agent, right? So, but maybe what you are asking, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe what you want to ask is, as a developer, right? Not
Yes.
just, yeah, not just a no-code version, but coding version. Uh, for agents, it's the same workflow, right? Even if you are coding, you need to understand what the agent is supposed to do before implementing it in code. And then you carry on with the rest of the development life cycle, which includes testing, testing out your agent to see it works.
Thank you very much for that wonderful answer. We still have two simple questions. The other one from Gloria, she said, is Claude also a conversational technology?
Yes, to put it simply, yes,
Yes.
Claude AI is a conversational technology.
Thank you very much. So, and for the other one is, if we are in the age of agentic AI, how close are we to AGI? Age.
Wow, wow, wow. How close are we to AGI?
Yes.
So, um, I'm going to speak from a personal perspective,
Yes.
right? And I would say that we are approaching closely. But when I say closely, I don't actually mean like next year, right? I don't have a figure about it. Neither am I working in Microsoft or OpenAI to give you very confident figures, right? But I can tell you that with the availability of knowledge and resources available, I think we are approaching artificial general intelligence. Firstly, let's understand what artificial general intelligence is. It's basically the ability uh, of an AI to simulate or replicate all human capabilities, right? To either match or surpass human abilities in cognitive task and all that. Currently, most AIs are specific to task. So you have for creating images, you have an AI for generating values in the stock market. So they are actually specialists, right? You don't have a particular AI that does everything, right? Because you have a human being who can talk, who can see, who can smell, who can do a whole number of tasks. So what you have most of the times is group of experts. So now coming back to what we said, I think personally, I think we are approaching it. I think we are approaching it. I may not be able to give you very specific things besides the availability of the technology. And when I say the availability of the technology, I'm talking about the raw resources like power and compute resources, right? We are around that place. So I think it's possible. But when it comes to morality, because humans are agents of, or they have a moral agency, I think it may take some time to be able to encode a moral in a language model, because firstly, it has to be able to reason for itself. Currently, large language models do not reason, but they simulate reasoning by generating tokens in the background, to guide whatever action it's about to take. So it's going to take some time, but I think, I'm not saying this with 100% confidence, but I think based on the availability of resources in the world now, I think we are approaching AGI.
Yes, thank you very much for that. We are approaching AGI as everything is moving fast. Now, here is the very last question from Philip Mayowa. How does the agent handle dead ends, assuming an action fails or a tool returns an error? How can the agent self-correct, try another route, or will it get stuck in the loop? Can I?
Okay, so yes, I got the question. How can an agent handle a dead end? And it goes back to how the model was trained and um, what workflows have been defined for the model. If you go to one of the slides where we talk about advanced agents, we said that one of the abilities of advanced agents is recovery. An advanced agent is able to recognize a failure and retry that route. So how does it do that? A couple of things, the model's training and the workflow that has already been defined for it. For instance, if you interact with anti-gravity, right, as I'm sure you have, and you saw that there were some times that if you looked through the reports the agent was giving you, you will see that it stated sometimes that it failed to perform an action, that it is trying it again. Let's take, for instance, running npm debug build, right? To build Vite. And if that timer exceeds, it's going to set another timer so that it will monitor whether or not that particular action has been executed. If that action fails, it's going to take another route. So just observe the reports that the agent gives in the process of generation. For instance, using anti-gravity, it does some form of recovery or tries different other commands to reach the goal. This goes back to the point I made earlier about AGIs and regular AIs. It's about use case, right? Various agents are built for various use cases. An agent that is built for creating requests on a website is different for an agent that is designed for developing a website. Why? Because the knowledge or skill that is required in developing an application is different from the knowledge or skill required for performing administrative task, right? One is a software development task, another is is an administrative task. So we train these agents for different use cases, right? If you develop your agent right for that use case, it's going to be able to. I hope this answers the question.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Mr. Ime Inyang, our amazing AI researcher and AI engineer. Thank you so much for this wonderful, powerful, impactful, insightful session. We really appreciate the session. We've learned a lot. And I want to also appreciate all my colleagues on the call, Sarah Dondu and Farouk, also on the call. Thank you for your support, and all the participants, the students of Deep Tech, and all participants that attended the session. Thank you so much for your time. We really enjoy it, and we hope to see you next week, Saturday, same time, for the last masterclass on AI automation. So please endeavor to fill in the attendance. The attendance is on the chart. Endeavor to fill in the attendance is very important, as the attendance is being tracked. So over to my colleague Sarah Gandu. Thank you very much.
Okay, Gideon. Thank you, Gideon. Thank you, Mr. Ime. Please, everyone, let's appreciate our wonderful tutor for today. He took his time to explain a lot to us today. Please, let's appreciate him. Thank you, Mr. Ime, for the explanation. I hope we all understood the concepts of AI agents, right? And how to apply it. And concerning the demo, like he said, so please do well to join us next week as he takes us through the demo session, and we conclude with AI automation. So thank you once again. So we just have few announcements before we end the class. So we have one more session left, like my colleague have mentioned. So you need to have at least attend 2 sessions to get certified. For deep tech ready learners, please, you log into the LMS and type vibe coding and AI agents. You self-enroll yourself to engage with the learning content. I hope that is clear. So you self-enroll yourself. It's not like where you log in, you see it on your dashboard like your other courses. You log into the LMS and search for vibe coding and AI agents to engage with the masterclass learning materials. And then the deadline to complete your learning for the masterclass series, that's this masterclass series, is different from your deep tech learning journey. This masterclass series, the deadline to complete the learning in order to get certified is August 9th. That's Sunday, 9th of August 2026. So you have about 3 weeks to complete your learning.
I hope that is clear. So this deadline, the first deadline is for the masterclass series learning content, right? Everything that Mr. Ime has shared in class will be on the element. So do well to log in and have access to the materials. But you have up until 9th of August to do that in order to get certified. Then for your deep tech ready journey, you have up until 16th of August. That's 1 week after that to complete your learning. After which you won't have access to the LMS again. So I hope that is clear. And then our final announcement, like my colleague Gideon has said, is going to be on AI automation. Now remember, we're going to do two things on that, like Tutor has said. We're going to conclude our demo session and then we'll move on to AI automation proper. Same time, same station. Please do well to join. And then finally, we have the attendance that we have been all asking about. So this was shared earlier in the group chat. The link was dropped for those of us who did not get to have access to it. This is an opportunity for you to scan and then fill in your attendance. Remember, you have to have two to get a certificate of completion. So once again, thank you to our tutor, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you for your time. Thank you for putting us through a lot. I hope we've learned even the safety he talked about. Please let's ensure we go through with them. It's not just about creating the agents. You have to have the safety in place, right? And then don't forget the demo session. That will be for next week. So once again, thank you everyone for joining and do enjoy the rest of your evening. Gideon, over to you.
Thank you very much. Since that this is the end of the session, we can call it a day. I'm hoping to see you next week where we conclude. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Farouk. Thank you, Ime. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend ahead. Bye-bye.